If your videos are stuck between 50 and 500 views, you might think it's something obvious, like your thumbnail or your editing that's killing your success. But what if I told you there are 12 things I constantly see beginners do, small innocent mistakes that make or break a video? Now, I've been on YouTube for over a decade, I run multiple faceless channels generating millions of views, and I run this channel you're watching now with 140k subs. And it's not just your video itself, but what you do after uploading it. If you skip this step, it's kind of like running marathon barefoot. It's very painful. I've seen my own channels get 50 views in 1 month and then go to 500,000 views the next month by posting pretty much the same videos and just making these small changes. And yes, it's taking me over 10 years to figure this out. So okay, number one, don't tell anyone about your YouTube channel, because sharing absolutely destroys small creators. And even if you're running big channels like I do, we're not immune to it. It's still dangerous. So here are 2 reasons why. When I started out on YouTube a decade ago, I was running this new gaming channel and I had lots of fun playing video games, and you could kind of feel it through the screen. I cracked jokes, I was being myself, and it was just a good time. But suddenly people around me got nosy and I made the big mistake of sharing my videos. Classmates then started asking, "Oh, what's your YouTube? Why did you make this video? Why did you say that? Do you have more subs now? What's happening?" And I started to get self-conscious. Nowadays, I run a YouTube business, I make money from this, and I'm a 0% self-conscious, or at least not as much anymore. But in the beginning, when I had like 300 subscribers, it was really hard because you're still kind of figuring out things, you're kind of learning. And what you need is not all that extra pressure from people who aren't even in your target audience and who definitely don't know YouTube. So only share videos with creators who are in the same boat and can understand you. But there's a bigger reason, and this kills channels. When you start sharing content, YouTube's algorithm gets confused. And if all of your friends subscribe and watch your videos, YouTube is going to recommend your content to similar people like your friends. YouTube thinks, "Oh, it's great, they're the perfect audience because they're watching you every time." But your friends aren't watching for the content, they're watching for you. And the algorithm gets confused, sharing it with the wrong people. And these new people don't click and watch anything, which pushes your video down in the algorithm. So if you're a big channel, it doesn't matter, a few views here and there, but as a small creator, be very careful of this. Number 2. So a few years ago, I heard one piece of advice that changed my YouTube and my life forever. Stop watching your own videos. I had just scripted a video, recorded it, edited it, and made a thumbnail, and the final step was to upload my video and click publish. But something happened, and I got stuck, because I started watching my own video after upload, and it freaked me out. I saw things I'd never seen before, mistakes in my script, editing issues, things I really wanted to fix badly. And so after spending a lot of time working on this video, I now felt tired, broken, and just defeated. So I deleted the video and went back to the drawing board. I re-scripted it, recorded it again, editing, blah blah blah. It took me days. And it was 100% a waste of time. Because after that, I actually did an experiment, and I stopped and I asked my friend, "Do you notice any difference between these 2 versions, version 1 and version 2? And my friend said, "No, looks great." And he was right, because nobody else cared. I was obsessing about my video because I'd already watched it like 50 times during my process and started to eventually create problems out of thin air. They never existed. Remember that your audience only watches your video once or twice if you're lucky, or if you're running like a stretching video where somebody comes back and watches every week. But in 99% of cases, they don't watch it 50 times like you do. They're not going to see the small mistakes the way that you do. So publish it and move on. Quality matters, but these final 1% fixes, if they take 50% more time, are just a waste. And you need that time for your other videos. Okay, moving on. One of my hard lessons that destroys channels before they even start. And that is, don't try to help the YouTube algorithm. I mean, keywords, descriptions, stop it. When I started on YouTube many years ago, keywords were the big thing. If you wanted to get views, you had to find the best hot keywords. And if you don't know what keywords are, they're kind of like the words you can add to your video to help people find them. And they help your videos get views. Like when people search for a keyword like food review and your video is a food review, it might show up there. Or so it used to be. Today, we're living in a very different stage of YouTube, and most people just don't realize it. Because back in 2015, YouTube already started to change forever. Something called AI, which you might be familiar with nowadays, appeared in its early stages called Google Brain. And the algorithm could now, already like 11 years ago, analyze your video much better than ever before with the help of AI. And so things have improved a lot over the past 11 years, and today keywords play a tiny role in the success of your video. And that's because YouTube knows every single word that you say. They use AI and transcripts to analyze your whole entire video. So why would they need keywords, you might think? They don't. Your video content nowadays matters much more than keywords. And to prove my point, I have multiple videos on this exact channel you're watching with hundreds of thousands of views without any keywords. Literally not a single one. Still, we keep using these keywords for some reason. I guess it's kind of like sentimental. I do the same on many of my channels, and we feel like not using them is wrong to some extent. But the smart creators, they don't care about this stuff. They optimize the video itself. They include keywords in that video, the thumbnail, optimize the file name, and we'll cover some of these things later in number 7 and number 9. Okay, moving on. Obviously, don't use copyrighted music. Make sure you have the rights to anything you use in your video. But luckily, YouTube has added some fantastic features over the last few years. You can now remove background music with AI tools, because back when I started, if your video got copyright striked by like 1 second of music and it was like a 10-hour video, you had to delete and re-upload the whole thing, which, as you can imagine, was a big problem. So music isn't really that much of a problem anymore. It's pretty easy to manage. But the problem today is, in my opinion, copyright in the video itself. And you need to check this before publishing. Make sure everything is original or you have the rights to use it. Don't use somebody else's content. It's just not worth it. Even if you think it's gonna pay off in the short term, your channel is at risk. You can face legal issues. And honestly, YouTube has gotten much more strict and also much better at enforcing their policies. You don't want to mess with any of that stuff. Still, in some cases, you might recognize that content can fall under fair use for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news, teaching, or research. And that's why things like reaction channels can even exist in the first place. They follow fair use. But that's kind of a zone on YouTube you have to be very, very careful about. And reaction channels are usually low CPM anyway, and it's hard to make money. So a real YouTubepreneur creates their own content, properly monetizes, and builds something real. And that's the way I recommend. And it's still very doable. Okay, number 5. Don't leave the video empty. So a few days ago, I got really annoyed. It was a Thursday evening and I had just finished a call with a client. And I was watching this YouTube video about travel, a place that I'm considering visiting. It was a wonderful video, I really liked it, but it had this long outro at the end of his video. And eager to keep watching, I was waiting for something, like, when is the end screen gonna pop up? I would have easily clicked on another video of his and kept going, but there was no end screen and nothing for me to watch next, which is such a tiny mistake. But I left the video. I took a walk, got back to my apartment, opened YouTube about 20 minutes later, and found another video to watch by one of his competitors. Now, the YouTube algorithm hates this. YouTube likes long session times, retention, people who stay on YouTube and who actively keep watching. So adding a really good end screen is one of the easiest things you can do. Just add one video to your end screen and let YouTube and its algorithms choose what's best for the viewer. You can literally pick that option. And it's kind of like a cheat code. You don't even need to think about this stuff. Next up is deleting videos. Now, there's only one reason why you should delete a video in the first place. And that's if you have to do it, if you're forced to. Otherwise, never delete a video. Even if you feel so bad and it completely flops. And I'll tell you a story about this. I posted a video I'd worked on for quite a while and it completely failed. Pretty much no views in the first few days and no views in the first few weeks either. Now, I was thinking, oh crap, I wasted all this time and even so, it looks bad on my channel. Sponsors are not gonna like me anymore. It looks like my channel is dying. But I had a mentor who said, Lucas, keep your videos up. Ignore the early performance. And so thanks to him, I did so. A year later, you're not gonna believe this, that video has hundreds of thousands of views and it's paid more than what I make in months at my old job. And all because I refused to delete it. Growth isn't linear at all. It's kind of scary and unpredictable and just goes like this. And it can happen when you least expect it. It's worth having your profile look a bit funny. Nobody really cares. keep your videos public. Okay, let's talk about thumbnails. People overcomplicate thumbnails, and everybody gets angry when you say this. But I'll give you a lesson that applies to everything, whether you get a designer or use AI and make it yourself. Just keep it simple. Only a few words or no words. Keep 1 or 2 focal points, like a face and a text, or face and something else. Not 10 different things confusing the brain. And the biggest key is your thumbnail should work with the title. These 2 elements are often looked at as kind of a separate, but they're actually 2 things that create a story together. But the true secret to winning the thumbnail game is to understand your audience. It's really that simple. What they actually want, what they click for, not just copying others. This is all a science that you can learn if you study your audience, and I recommend you do so as soon as possible. And after that, thumbnails become like 10 times easier. Understand the psychology. All right, next up, how do you test your videos? How do you test your thumbnails, your titles, your ideas, and actually know if they're good? I'll tell you a quick story. I was working with this new creator, helping him grow his channel, and he struggled a lot with this stuff. He said, "Lucas, I've been running my channel and I've been running these split tests for my thumbnails and titles to see what title or what thumbnail performs the best. But the problem," he said, "was I get no data. Nobody watches my video in the first place. I don't get enough views to test it." And this actually hit me. He's right. I realized it. He's correct. That's a problem. Small channels can't use the split testing feature because they don't get enough views in the first place to test. That's why I tell small channels or new creators to mostly skip that. And instead, your success is going to come from modeling what already works, learning proven titles, thumbnail designs, and the big secret is to get a mentor or somebody to give you feedback who's already seen thousands of successful and unsuccessful cases and who knows what they're doing. It's way more efficient to do these things as a new creator and going for the big improvements you can make and getting expert feedback immediately. Because honestly, the testing system is made for a little bit bigger creators. Now moving on to comments. Here's the exact method I try to follow. I actually ignore my comments. Now, I try to read them only for like the first few hours to see if there's a serious mistake or something I need to handle. And that's it. Because as a creator, you will get hate. No matter how good you are, I promise, if somebody made a video helping dogs in a dog shelter, they would still get dislikes. That's the reality, unfortunately. And the more you grow, the more hate you'll get. So be prepared for that. It also, of course, depends on the niche. If you're into politics or news or drama or celebrity stuff, you're gonna be absolutely flooded. In my niche right now, it's usually okay. But it's always easy to get dragged into a debate, and that's the worst place to be. You're wasting your time, you're ruining your mood. For what? Luckily, my comments are mostly positive, and I do really appreciate you guys and all the support in the comments. I do read quite a lot of them. But every creator will understand this. Spend your time making videos, not debating with people. And I promise you'll feel better, get better results, and your audience will be happier too. I also made this video to help you grow your channel, whether it's faceless or you're building a personal brand. Right here, some really cool strategies, so check them out, and I'll see you over there. Goodbye.